Uh, I am Samantha Power, a professor at the Kennedy School of Government and one of Barack Obama's senior foreign policy advisors. And I just wanted to speak with you, the Armenian community, about the reasons I'm supporting Barack Obama. I got a call from him in early 2005 when he'd taken over his seat in the U.S. Senate, the junior senator from Illinois. And he had just read the book that I had written, A Problem from Hell, America in the Age of Genocide. He's the only member of Congress or the U.S. Senate to reach out to me, having read that book, in which I documented what had been done to the Armenians in 1915. We met in Washington. We were supposed to meet for an hour. We met for 4 hours. And by the end of that period, I heard myself saying, why don't I leave my job at Harvard and come and work as an intern in your office? I'll do anything. And what I've seen in Obama over the years now, the last few years, is his unshakable conscientiousness about human rights on the issue of genocide prevention, whether with regard to understanding the costs of denial and the degree to which that fuels further cycles of violence, or a real-life genocide that's going on as we speak, which is that in Darfur, and the leadership he's taken on that issue. Moreover, though, what is amazing about Barack, and as I, a non-Washington person, so gravitate toward, is his willingness to challenge conventional wisdom and conventional Washington. As your community knows better than anybody, business as usual in Washington leads to certain bad habits that are destructive for human rights and for human dignity. And Obama, whether it's on standing up to the war in Iraq in October 2002, the only mainstream candidate who did that, or being willing to challenge Pervez Musharraf and ask him where U.S. military assistance is going, being willing to meet with our so-called enemies or with rogue nations and not put conditions on those meetings because he believes that actually we look tougher when we're in the room with people, and agrees with John Kennedy that we should never negotiate in fear but never fear to negotiate, or his very forthright statement on the Armenian Genocide, his support for the Senate resolution acknowledging the genocide all these years later, his willingness as president to commemorate it, and certainly to call a spade and to speak truth about it. I know him very well, and he is a person of incredible integrity, and he's not going to focus group his way to making very important policy decisions. He's a true friend of the Armenian people, an acknowledger of the history, and I think somebody who can respond to the fierce urgency of now, which is Martin Luther King's way of describing this moment in history, and just how desperate we all are to restore American leadership in the world, which he can do uniquely as one who opposed the war in Iraq and as one who himself is the product of the world, as somebody who's half Kenyan and half Kansan. Restore our leadership in the world, but also understand that that leadership is rooted in truth-telling, in sometimes hard truth-telling, and in ensuring that American power is used to enhance dignity around the world. A lot of people say about Barack Obama, well, he's a fine young man, he'll make a great president someday. But I think you'll join me in acknowledging that we don't have time to wait to restore our standing in the world. We don't have time to wait to stop the proliferation of terrorists, to deal with climate change. We need somebody who can unite the country. I hope some of you are Republicans and you're hearing this message, independence. Obama's had incredible appeal across the aisle, and we need somebody who takes over in January 2009 who can actually build a working majority to deal with getting out of Iraq, to deal with health care. So not anybody can talk about a plan for health care reform, but who is going to build a working majority and overcome the polarization that has so crippled us? So I hope you in the Armenian community will take my word for it, but if not, I hope you'll just pay attention in these coming days to everything that comes out of that person's mouth, Barack Obama's mouth, because he's a person who can actually be trusted, which distinguishes him from some in the Washington culture. So I hope you'll take him seriously, as you have always taken me seriously, and I'm very grateful for your support for my writings and for the ideas within them. And I know Senator Obama would be hugely grateful for your support on February 5th and in the primary states beyond. Thank you so much.